Yeah, I think the problem comes from when you feel like you can do more, but sometimes things just like don't work out. And obviously I have to blame myself as well. Like I'm not a fault-free player by any means.
Sure.
I think it's just sometimes you feel like, man, if like we just did this instead and the split, we had 2 more wins and then the playoffs would be easier or something like this. I think it's just that sports in general that like.
This is our first time chatting.
Yeah.
I wanted to catch you yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't here at the studio, so I'm sorry I caught you not after a dub.
Yeah, it should have been.
Man, you've had several games like this that are late. It's late. Eddie's fed.
Yeah.
You know, you have an opportunity and something goes wrong. Someone gets caught.
Yeah.
You know, blows a flash, whatever it is, and you know, the punish comes down. Kind of, you can talk about either this game, or you could talk about the losses in general that have been close.
Yeah.
Because do you feel like some of these games have been close enough that you should be in that middle of the pack? Or do you feel like this is an accurate representation of where you're at?
I wouldn't say it's fair to put us middle of the pack. I think we've had a lot of games which we've just lost by our own means.
Sure.
I think this game we also lost by our own means, but they also played pretty well, I think, in late game. So I want to give credit to them. But I think a lot of the games we've just actually played upright bad.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put us middle of the pack. But I think this game and the previous game that we played, I think we show a lot of our heights, like which level we can play on.
Yeah.
I think we just haven't for a lot of the games, to be honest.
So then talk me through this one, right? How did this one kind of slip away or not have the opportunity to take the win?
I think in general we kind of went for like a more trade-heavy mindset when we were ahead. I think we could have gone for a more aggressive approach and kind of just match them and fight into them a bit more. But I felt like we were confident in our scaling, which I think we should have been as well. But they also obviously scaled. They had Aphelios and Azir, like pretty godlike scaling champions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think after the game was kind of evened out in gold and they got some towers back and Jax got fed, I think it was a close battle. And then it's kind of up to anyone. I think they were just sharper a lot of times. Like we tried to steal the Nash instead of fighting it. We tried to like fight them on bad spaces, etc. So I think we just kind of didn't play aggro on our timers, and then when it was their timers, we died. So
yeah,
I think it's just one of those games which goes to late game, and then it can go either way. No.
Sure. When you look back at this season, you know, people that don't know, you've been playing at a high level since what, season 3? You've been playing competitive since what, 2017, 2016?
I think 16, yeah.
Yeah, 2016. You know, one of the biggest teams that you broke through with were Giants?
Yeah,
right?
Giants in Spain, Spanish League, was one of the first big ones,
Yeah. You've had a lot of time learning. You've had a couple of opportunities to really like be at the high end, but you've been a lot of the results you've had are like middle of the pack and kind of like frustrating because you're so close to breaking through. You know, again, there's a clear difference in tactical last year. Last split compared to tactical now, you know, and I attribute a decent amount of that to you and obviously his comfort with that. But, you know, talk me through what it's been like kind of being on the cusp of greatness, knowing that there's greatness inside you.
Yeah, I think the problem comes from when you feel like you can do more, but sometimes things just like don't work out. And obviously I have to blame myself as well. Like I'm not a fault-free player by any means.
Sure.
I think it's just sometimes you feel like, man, if like we just did this instead and the split, we had 2 more wins and then the playoffs would be easier or something like this. I think it's just that sports in general that like sometimes shit just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I think the split is kind of one of those where it's just like 10 games we just like threw away and kind of just were wasted.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I mean, the only thing you can do as a competitor is do your best, put all your effort into your team and try to improve as fast as you can. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes there's factors like someone is sick for the entire split, someone, I don't know, doesn't vibe with the team or something like that. And I think there's always a lot of different factors. Like you see a lot of great teams on paper fail.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's just because they don't gel, they don't have the synergy. And I think that's just unfortunately been the case for me a lot of times. I feel like I've had a lot of rosters where if one thing went different or if maybe we had a better start and like got some momentum, etc., it would be different. But I feel like I'm always fighting uphill.
Yeah.
It's always like now we're 2-5, we gotta win like 5 games in a row, you know, to get the ball rolling, etc. So I think definitely it's also up to me. I think maybe I have to bring in more juice in the starter split.
Sure.
But then, yeah, it feels like when I'm in this like 2-10 or 2-8 on SK, I remember I was a lot of times, it's just really hard to come back from, I think.
Yeah, and I'm glad you took it that way. I wasn't trying to like shit on your career at all. It was just more of like...
No, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, it's just uphill battle is definitely, I think, a good way to put it.
For sure, yeah.
You're now in a situation where you need to win at least
Basically
3 more
every-
games.
yeah,
you
basically
got
all of
4
them.
games left.
Yeah.
So when you see this, there's 4 games left. Got to win it out. How do you take the first step here?
I mean, I think Golden Guardians was the hardest opponent we had left to play,
Yep.
in my opinion. I think we have FlyQuest, EG, and Dig and NRG left.
Okay.
So in my opinion, GG is the best out of those teams. So with us potentially having the win today, we're really close. I think we should at least be positive for the remaining games.
Sure.
I think when you're at that stage of being 2-10, you're kind of just like, fuck it, like, let's just play our style and see how it goes. And like, if it works, it works. If not, then it sucks. And that's kind of my attitude as well. I'm just like, I just want to play as good as I can.
Yeah.
Bring us as far as we can. And then maybe there's like a world where we lose in a tiebreaker situation or something. Who knows? But I think it's just kind of, you reach that point where you're just like, like we just have to do our best. Like, it doesn't really matter anymore. We're in the fucking dirt already. So
Yesterday's match against 100 Thieves, was there some sort of different preparation? I know in the post-game interview you said they didn't play that well, which allowed you to play really well. But did you do something different this week? Was there a change in how you approached week 5?
Yeah, I think in general, with the kind of don't give a fuck mindset, I think we kind of just drafted in a more aggressive way, especially around bot lane, I think. I think a lot of the different games we played before, we played a bit more of a defensive, like, kite back comp. And I think now we've played a lot of more fighting champs in general, and I think that works out for us. So I think that was probably the biggest change. I think we actually saw like a clear win con in our comps instead of just scaling and hoping for best. Like
Sure.
against TL, we're just like scaling. Oh, we died bot. Oh, we died mid. Oh, the game's over. So I think in general, just having a more clear team identity, I think was important for us. And I think that's something we'll bring over to the next week as well.
Sure. Closing it out here, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on just this experience in NA, obviously being having your opportunity before so skewed with the remote situation.
Yeah.
Now being able to be on stage, be here with the team, how's it been compared to what you thought it would be like?
I mean, it's been honestly pretty great. I think the only negative thing has been our results. I think otherwise, outside the game, I vibe super well with everyone on the team. Me and Eddie have a lot of fun together in the bot lane.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been a good time here. Obviously, I'm a competitor, so when the results are bad, it affects my life because League is my entire life. So I'm just trying to make the most out of just being here and having a good time in general, and then obviously just doing my best as a competitor. But it's been pretty good. Just want to get some more wins on the board, you know?
It's always difficult when the process is there, the relationships are there, and then the end result isn't.
Exactly, like that's the one that sucks the most, when it feels like we did everything we could. There's no like clear problem of like, oh, this guy's really toxic. He's
That would make it really easy. That would make it so
then
easy.
you're like, man, just that it's his fault, you know?
Yeah, it's
but there's
Bigler's
no
fault.
one's fault. It's everyone's fault, you know? That's the problem. So I just have to take my share of the blame and do the best I can to improve, and that's all I can do.
Sure. I've been asking this all the pros. This question. Tell me a story about an old teammate.
Ooh.
You could tell any story.
Well, I have a few good ones.
That is not bannable.
Exactly.
Just don't get us banned.
Not reportable. Okay. I feel like a lot of the good ones came from my ERL days. Like I think TSM Academy, the Pepega House, as I called it. There was a lot of stuff going on there. That's for sure. I mean, if that was broadcasted on a channel, it would for sure be permabanned. I think in general, just the time I had with Eddie and Spica on TSM Academy. I think it's something I'll remember. I mean, they're like all our comms is just us shouting random stuff.
like what?
Or we're just like, go bot, or like, he's that thing. Just like random stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's always fun when you're playing on a pretty good level and you're having fun in comms. You can hear that from G2 as well. I think in a lot of their comms videos, they're just like, oh, I'm inting. Like they're just like kind of making memes out of everything.
Yeah.
I think that's when I have the most fun in general, and that's when that's my favorite moments as a pro player.
It sounds like you reach a level of trust that you know that everyone's trying their best.
Yeah. And it's also the thing of like, I think people, when they know what to do in game, there's not that much to talk about. I think the game kind of plays itself. Like if you're up in gold, obviously you should like play for dragons. Like it's not like the game is a myth anymore. It's kind of scripted. So I think a lot of the times when I've had fun in the past, it's because my teammates kind of troll around with me.
Yeah. Treatz, thank you very much, man. I mean, again, wanted to get you on a win. I was like, cool, 2 wins at the beginning of split, no problem.
We can call this a win, so I am down for it.
This is a learning lesson, a moral victory. There's a lot of those. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Digon Esports. And you know, it hasn't always been easy getting my thrills since I'm a one-man band doing everything here. So to get my thrills, I get them from Trolli gummy worms. You know, they want nothing more than for you to bite into their delicious, sour heads and bodies into pieces. Personally, I like the raspberry blueberry flavor. It's really good. You should go ahead and get your own. Check it out and get the mind-warping, tongue-twisting sour thrills only at Trolli.com.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, good luck with the last couple games in the split. You know, you never know what might happen. Look,
Exactly.
FlyQuest BDG, you know,
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
You guys play FlyQuest.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll put in Spyrex. Who knows? All right, I'm going to get in trouble. All right. If you want more, please leave it here on Digon Esports. All right, man. Thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thank
you, dude.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good. I'm glad. Like, you know, a lot of the other guys I've been, you know, hanging with them for a while. So
Yeah.
when it's the first time with someone, I'm always like, all right, let's see.